As many of you probably know, New York Supreme Court Justice Shirley Kornreich recently denied Kesha's request for a preliminary injunction to nullify her contract with Sony Music, and particularly producer Lucas Sebastian Gottwald, aka Dr. Luke, whom Kesha alleges emotionally and sexually abused her for a decade. I wished that there was something that I could do to help or comfort the obviously heartbroken Kesha, but I realized the best I can do is make a drink. Step one of our hashtag Free Kesha cocktail is to not use a traditional cocktail shaker, but rather mix your ingredients in a decanter, not to be confused with a recanter, which is a label a lot of people use to discredit the testimony of domestic violence and sexual assault victims like Kesha. Because for instance, in 2011, she did state in a sworn deposition that Dr. Luke never raped her. However, what a lot of people probably don't realize is how recanting is a very common part of the coercive domestic violence and abuse cycle, especially when there's been a long-term personal or professional relationship. Step two, we're gonna add our whiskey base, which is going to establish an intense power dynamic in this cocktail. Not unlike the power, wealth, and influence research has found that abusers will wield over their victims in order to perpetuate violence as well as maintain silence. I didn't mean to rhyme that. Next up, we'll add some triple sec, which is apparently the maximum amount of time that people assume that sexual assault survivors should wait before going to the police, even though it's extremely common for them to wait weeks, months, years, if ever, reporting the incident due to factors related to fear, shame, and re-traumatization associated with it. And now, a dash of bitters, which is what some people claim that Kesha's whole lawsuit against Dr. Luke is all about, ignoring the fact of how violence against women runs rampant in the music industry. Why am I smiling? While I let that sit for a second, I'm gonna prep the cucumber garnish by peeling off its skin, aka grooming it, which is essentially what Kesha alleges Dr. Luke did by incrementally exposing her to greater and greater levels of emotional, sexual, and verbal abuse, thereby isolating her to keep things secret, as well as normalizing the destructive behavior. Next up, we're gonna water things down a bit, which is what we do every time we assume that a rape survivor must be lying, despite only 2 to 8% of rape allegations being legally deemed unfounded. Finally, we're gonna put all of this on ice, which is what 98% of domestic abusers do to their victims' finances, in order to exert even more control over their lives and also ensure that they have no place to go. Or in Kesha's case, kind of like having her sign, I don't know, an unbreakable contract that still grants Dr. Luke publishing rights over all of her songs, i.e. granting him control over her entire career. And it tastes just as disgusting as it is to watch rape culture on full display. Free Kesha.